the Gentlementor.
Welcome to the Gentlementors. This is a new year,
Oh, it just,
2021.
it just got official.
It just got official. I was going to throw it in.
2021.
I just want to throw it in. I want to say welcome, because we have a
That's
prologue
great.
of things that we
That's
talk
great.
about for
That's
the
great.
past,
And I just want to
15
say to
minutes.
everybody that was bitching about 2020, and I can't wait until it's over.
Yeah, joke's on you.
And that's all I'm going to say about that because I want to get kicked off of no YouTube.
pretty great start to our year here.
We did.
I
We had
think
a
I think
great start.
I think we would be fools not to at least back up for a second and say, "Hey, 2021. What do you think about 2021?" Here we are.
2021.
Here we are.
You know,
We're officially 12 days into it,
we're 12 days in.
and we're 12 days in. That's what I'm saying. We're officially
Yeah.
12 days. I don't know what you're into it when you're listening to this. Those of you who are listening, but
Yeah. Hopefully something later than that.
the only thing I want to say to those of you who are listening at whatever later future date you're in, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I would echo that, and I would say like we had everything handled up through the 5th. I think we did a beautiful job, and then the 6th, somebody didn't pick up their shift or something because
Apparently.
we had it handled up till there. We started 2021 off with a great lap.
I like your perspective, but let me flip that on you. What if no one was doing their shift up until the 6th? And then finally someone was like,
that was the whistle.
Chick, I clocked in and here I go. And
I always love the
what the hell?
The Flintstone whistle.
Yes. Yep.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. Well, with 6 days was just enough. That was enough.
Oh man! Apparently that one day was just one more than we needed.
One more day. Yeah, we got to get back to the world as we know it.
The option is to go neck deep into what's going on right now, and I don't want to do that.
No, I don't.
I feel like I spent the better part of the last year and a half or so warning people that this is kind of where we were headed, and now we're here.
Yep.
The game here is to avoid getting into this situation in the first place. And now that you're into the situation, I don't know what you do.
Yeah. And providing that this podcast video never makes it out. I saw a tweet today something. It was an image of somebody's tweet that says, what did it say? If Twitter is a private corporation, they're allowed to do whatever they want, that every business in America should be open right now.
Yep. I saw that.
Yes.
I think I even clicked the thing on whatever, it was thumb up or a like or whatever it was.
Yeah. That may have been. You may have actually shared that on our Instagram.
I don't think I did, but
didn't. Okay.
No, I try not to get anything near politics. It's got nothing to do with the social media giants. It's just got to do with kind of like fronting with religion. It's a quick way you'll gather a crowd, but you will also lose a crowd, and it's something when we talk, we talk about. If religion comes up, we talk about it. If politics comes up, we talk about it, but we don't dwell on it. And I don't want to give anybody, if people can't find enough political content to keep them busy 24/7, and I say content loosely because almost all of it is purely speculative at this point.
Oh, of course.
Every time the person that I watch, I'll flip through because we have the YouTube on the Roku, and we'll flip through, and every time I see a headline, it's like, no, this is another opinion.
Yeah.
What you're getting now is a constant flow of opinions, and nobody knows anything, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen at this point because it's been stoked up until now. Voices in the media continue to stoke it, even though they want to blame lots. What they're really doing is being part of the problem and not part of the solution. So, until people get smart enough to not buy in to the narrative. Let's just call it the narrative. That way we don't have to point a finger at anybody.
I feel it's safe to say at this juncture that the fact is that the word amen has nothing to do with the male gender or any type of gender related anything. So here's my thing. I'm not surprised by the events or the event. I'm surprised at the response.
Yes, yes,
The response
yes,
has just been
yes.
like, "What? Are
Yeah.
you kidding me? This
Like,
is how we respond in such hatred and fear mongering and whatever it is." I'll say some other things here, but I don't want to. Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean.
it's all right.
I want to be encouraging. I want to be encouraging.
I do too. I do too. But there's a point at which it does no good to be encouraged if you don't have good facts to base your behavior on.
True, true.
It doesn't do me any good to encourage you to hang in there. I mean,
Yeah,
that's all I can encourage you to do right now because we're all hanging in there to see, okay,
yeah, we're
somebody's going to
still
step
hanging in
up.
there.
Yeah, somebody going to step up and be the adult in the room yet? Or are we still going to go with what we're doing? Yeah, the response is more puzzling to me, especially after the summer that we all lived through and went, what's
Yeah,
going on?
yeah.
Why are we, if you're
Again,
mad about injustice, why is the answer to that to perpetrate more injustice on other people that had nothing to do with it?
innocent people. Right. Exactly.
Innocent people
Yeah.
lost homes and businesses and property, and we burn it down. Oh, it's all right, it's all insured. Burn it down. It doesn't matter. Oh, this is what democracy looks like. And okay, well, if you want me to support that, I'll support that protest. But then these people did a thing because they felt similar things, and they didn't burn anything. It was bad because there was violence and people got hurt, and that's bad. We don't want to see that happen. But I didn't see
People got
anybody
killed.
taking TVs or, so apparently a laptop went missing.
Oh
There were bad
no.
actors that did bad things, and yeah, they should be held accountable just like anybody who does a bad thing should be held accountable. But somehow there was a transference, and that equaled that now there should not be any discussion of this other thing, and now we're going to take people off the social media, and it's just real weird. And I feel
It
like the
is.
reaction to it, and I'm hoping and praying, and I'm sincerely hoping and praying that the reaction to it will wake people up, and that people will go, well, I don't like him, but this seems a little over the top. The Chancellor of Germany today said that she thought that the Twitter response to the president and his account was over the top, that it was too
Yeah.
far, that
Yeah.
it's going too far. And nobody here is saying any of that. And it's like,
Of course not.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
get. They don't want to get kicked off.
Yeah, we understand all the whys and everything, but it's like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to be that guy that goes, um, yeah, I want to encourage everybody to listen to the podcast that we've done so far because we didn't realize what we were prepping for quite. And a lot of what we've talked about has been the idea of finding your value in your family and finding your value in what you add to the people around you and getting your face out of the media, including the social media,
Come on, somebody.
because it's gas on the fire and we don't
It
need it.
is.
We don't
It
need
is.
it. We need
It's
to make
it's
connections with other human beings and
it's gas
assure
on a
your
dumpster fire.
neighbors that
Yes.
them people on TV are nuts, but we're cool. Make sure your
Yeah.
neighbors and your friends know
We're cool.
we're cool.
Come tell your friends.
I mean, that was talking
Listen to
to
some reason.
Johnny this evening. I mean, that was kind of the end of the calls. Well, we're kind of some hick dudes out here in the backwoods of the Midwest. Nobody really cares.
Yeah, speak for
Nobody's
yourself.
coming for us.
Yet.
Yeah. And our location will do something to make sure that we should at least know if that's going to happen. But at this point,
Yeah, we have some time. So if there's some type of infiltration from the north or south, we'll
yeah,
have we'll
yeah,
have a little bit of we can
yeah.
escape
If
the west and
if the,
at least
if the
get to a mountain
Norwegians come
somewhere.
after us, no, everybody needs to chill out. Don't buy into it. I talked to so many people last week, and I think it was the 6th. A date which shall live in infamosity.
Another one.
So many people told me about not being able to sleep. Like
Really?
literally, I was awake all night. I could not go to sleep, and I'm like, I I'm sure I didn't sleep great, but I slept. And don't. This should be a major red flag.
Yeah.
I understand it's upsetting, and I understand it's a difficult time, and it's unprecedented, and we don't know what's going on. But if you're at a point where you're losing sleep, it's time to disconnect from the media.
Oh, I agree. Because let's face it, and you and I know, and we've probably talked about this on previous shows that
Here,
that day when sleep is going to be terribly disrupted is still coming.
Mm.
I don't think this is really that at all.
Oh no.
Um, um, so we were talking about response and the way we respond to things. And help me out here. That what I saw a post not too long ago. It's a very famous quote, probably by Marcus Aurelius, that the only
Mm-mm.
thing you can control is your response to things. You can't control situations.
Nope.
You can't control what happens to you, but we can control how we respond to it.
And at some point on a episode to be named later, we'll talk about expectations and how that plays into that whole big ball of wax. But
Ooh, ooh,
for now, we'll leave it at that. Well, as part of the conversation that I was having with Mike was in regard to really looking at things and saying, what do I have any influence over,
right,
and what do I not have any influence over, and
right,
immediately get those things on two different lists, because there's no point in beating yourself up or hating yourself over things that you have no control over.
exactly.
And in fact, that led us into a conversation about, which I didn't realize it was a conversation we hadn't had or that he hadn't heard from me or anything, about how my perspective in dealing with my relationship with God in that very same way. That, it becomes freedom. Surrender becomes freedom in that moment when you realize, I'm not responsible for this. Hey, wait a minute. This isn't my purview. This isn't on my
Yeah,
job description.
yeah.
I'm trying to take care of something that's not mine to take care of. Whether that happens through, others or societal pressures or the expectations we put on ourselves. There's so much stuff in life we just don't have any control over, but we are, I suspect it's male more than female, kind of compelled forward by this idea that we must solve all the problems. We have to settle
Hmm.
everything. And
Oh yeah,
Mike,
it's definitely male.
he's in a situation right now where there's just no immediate solution, and
Hmm.
yet he is struggling to find that immediate solution. And it's like, well, and it led into things more theological, but it's like, yeah, well,
Right.
the going through the situation is where the actual growth occurs. If you just start with the solution and it's solved, then nobody grows. Nobody grows and nobody gets closer to God, because a lot
Still
of those
learn, but
times,
you don't may not necessarily grow.
exactly, those situations will bring something else out of you. If all you have are, lottery winning tickets and, and birthday dinners, and there's never a struggle.
Yeah, that's something that Andy Stanley talks about. He's like, you have to first figure out, is this a problem to solve or a tension to manage? And when you can figure that out, you completely come at it a different perspective. And anyway, it's funny you say that, because I think a few moments ago, I was thinking about the conversation that I was having someone about struggle. That I think, and again, I apologize if we're getting to this place where we shouldn't get to it. You can reel me back in. I think we're getting to this place as society, as let me just say humanity, especially here in my country, that we have, for 10 years now, we have not had a struggle that has appeared outside of um, our own control. And let me and I say this, and I hate to say this, and you can take it out later if you need to, but I think it's worth saying that I think we need, I hate to say it, I think we need an outside attack. I think we do,
Well,
because it unites us as a nation, it unites us as a people. What's happening on the inside is not going to unite us, because we're
Right,
festering.
right.
We're festering, we're divided. We need something that's going to unite us, and I think the only thing is somebody across the Pacific Ocean shoots some missiles at us, and well, all of a sudden we go, oh, now hold on a minute,
Yeah.
we got to get together and figure this out. Finally, we're focusing on that. Without the struggle, the purpose has no meaning. And so right now, there's really not a struggle. Now I know people are struggling, families are struggling, people are struggling because of loss of jobs. I get that, but
There's no existential trouble like a villain.
as a nation, there is no villain. There is no struggle, and no villain makes for no good story. And when there's no good story, people just rely
Now
on
we're
each other,
infighting.
and they create their own drama.
Right.
And so we need that, and so there has to be a villain to fight.
I've
And
I've actually heard a version of this as a church growth, uh, not a strategy, but someone explaining why a church wasn't growing, and because they were not taking on the problems outside anymore, so that energy and that
yeah,
drive
the
to
same
do
thing.
something like
You're
that
right,
is
absolutely right,
festering into infighting.
exactly right.
And I can put this in nature terms. My two little yippy dogs go
Mhm.
outside and they're yipping at a dog on the other side of the fence, they'll work themselves up to a point where they will lose track of what it was they were getting upset about, and they can't get at that dog, so they'll start attacking each other.
Mm,
So, yeah, I
that's
see
it.
that. I see that as a truism. I mean, I think that would. You talk about. Well, we talked about religion as we always do. The church. The church always grows when it is under trial.
Yes.
When there's an attack against it, that's when the church grows and develops.
2020 was a good year for growth.
Spoke with Mike earlier. We were talking about the opportunities that we have for growth in life, something we've talked about over and over here. They come
Mhm.
through difficult times, through struggles. A little baby is born, and it's beautiful and cute, and mom and dad love it. Well, before that was probably several hours of intense physical struggle and pain
Yep.
and
Yep.
blood. And before that was 9 to 10 months of struggle on some
Right.
level, learning to deal with this new burden.
And then there's the mother.
Yeah. But
Sorry.
so yeah, I mean, it's bad, but the Bible thing is, rejoice, give in all circumstances, give thanks, or something like that.
Yeah.
Bible words.
Well, that's what we have right now. Is we're arguing over the color of carpet that
Yeah,
we're putting in the
yeah,
building.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Literally,
or the color of the walls. Literally, yeah,
red and
yeah.
blue, red and
We
blue.
are. That's it. We have a choice between red and blue carpet, and some want red, some want blue. That's exactly what we are. And I think your analogy of the church, at least for me, because that's something that I, can understand pretty
Well,
well.
I think it's I
Huge.
think
Let's
it's
do it.
such a true principle. Like I said,
It
I
is.
see it in my dogs. I see it in the church. I see it in our
Yeah.
country right now. Like if you really think about it, um, something else. There was another thing I thought of. It's just a different example of the same principle. Oh,
So.
we talked about like anxiety and depression.
Hmm.
I believe part of what makes anxiety happen is that we have this, call it the energy of life, that makes us get up and go do things and go out and conquer,
Hmm.
and part of what makes us want to build a legacy. And when we don't use that, when that energy remains locked down inside, that's where anxiety and depression come from. That's us fighting ourselves internally because
Right.
we're not externalizing that energy to go out, and it's all part and parcel of selfishness.
It is. It is because
Go.
we are not created as selfish beings. We are created as beings that we're supposed to give ourselves, and when we don't, and you see that that's you find any. I've got a book on the shelf by Adam Grant, Give and Take, and he talks about how people are happier when they give. Psychologically, you throw in exercise, sunshine, good diet, and help for or meal or not meals. I don't know what am I just saying? Giving of yourself to
Right.
someone else. Where you're volunteering, you're giving time, you're donating something. That creates the dopamine in our brain. It creates the
Hmm.
good feeling in our head. So the struggle that I'm talking about, because I'm backing off because you were talking, and I'm thinking, okay, the struggle doesn't have to be an outside attack from an enemy or a villain. It could be an outside villain that's just out there doing a thing, and we take it on like
Mm.
it's some other problem in some other
A
country.
cause.
A cause, yeah.
Yeah.
Sex slavery
Yeah.
is a
It
huge
doesn't
thing
need to be
that
a
we can
literal thing.
attack
Yeah.
in other places, and we can take ourselves and focus on that instead of always looking inward. Looking inward, we just fester. We become the pond that
Right.
doesn't have an outlet, doesn't have an inlet, or just has an inlet and it's just festering, and we don't look out for others. It's exactly what it is. So anyway, I think all of this is worth interpolating into our own personal lives as
Oh,
men,
for sure.
fathers, as husbands, as friends, that we can just interpolate this and start looking outward. We keep our arrows pointed out. We don't get so sick.
Well, and the thing is we've hit on this before. We've got a society right now that is sick with selfishness.
Yeah.
That even whether you go to church or you don't, whether you're Republican or Democrat, it does not matter. Every philosophy now is turned into this thing about how it's okay for me to do whatever I want to do and be whatever I want to be because the most important thing is my self-fulfillment journey. Whether you're, like I said, you take it from a conservative point that, I've got a right to have my business and my property and my money and nobody can take it and you can't make me be a socialist. And socialists are, like I said, the opposite thing where it's you should care so much about me and have so much compassion for me that you don't don't want your stuff anymore. You should give it to me and take care of me so I don't have to go without. It's just another version of selfishness.
Yep, exactly.
Church is church selfishness. It's selfishness with a little cross stamped on the corner to make it, okay, this is okay because you just tell Jesus I need it, and then you name it and claim it, and you just, and you be wealthy and you'll be healed and you'll have all this stuff that you think you need. And it's like, man, when in the history of the world will people wise up to the fact that that just ain't how stuff works here? There's just no perfect life.
I don't know. There is plenty of clinical study that talk about it, and in this book, Adam Grant, I recommend you getting it if you like it. It's a great book.
Could you do an audio version for me?
I wasn't saying that to you, Doug. I don't recommend
okay.
you get it. I recommend you get it, but I was saying that
that would be a good podcast. We should read some of these books of yours.
That'd be cool, or just excerpts of excerpts of it. Anyway, there's plenty of clinical studies that talk about, and his book is based in. It's funny because you were talking about the perspective of or family and whatever, but his perspective is in business. If in a job, if I'm always focused on me excelling and going to the next raise, getting to the next promotion, making the big sale, he says those people are less likely to be happy and less likely to sustain success than those who are like, no, I want to help that person succeed. I want to do something for them. I want to give them something. I want to give them my time. I want to help them with this issue, even though it doesn't benefit me, but it got them a promotion. It got them a raise. I want to help them. And so that's what he talks about. And all that's clinical stuff that, when you give of yourself and you help others, emotionally, psychologically, it changes you.
It pays dividends immediately.
That's it. I like that. Immediate dividends.
Have it. That's for you.
Well, and dividends aren't just immediate. Dividends are continual, aren't they? As long as you own them. It's a continual thing. So you can borrow on that later on when you fall into one of those dark moments, which we all do.
Yeah, and it's, probably goes without saying, it's addictive too. It feels good.
Heck yeah.
It's being selfless is one of the most selfish things you can do.
Yeah.
It feels
I guarantee you,
good.
Man, every single one of those guys, you've probably talked to them that were on that call a few weeks ago for your birthday or last week. When was it, last week? Every one of those
guys.
Who can tell? Who remembers? Every one of those guys, I am sure, got off the call going, man, what a great time to sit there for just an hour and a half and bless this guy. They did, and they said something.
I got the text messages to prove it.
I was stunned.
I did. I had a blast. I knew you had a blast. I was walking away from it. Of course, Andy was here, so we were still laughing, and I started getting text messages. Yeah, and it was almost everybody in it that was like, we've got to do it again. We've got to do it again.
Right.
And some people were people I didn't think would show up in the first place. So to hear them say, we got to do it again was a shocker.
That's fantastic.
It was.
That was great. And it was so cool for me, and we're getting back on this again, but that's fine. It was so cool for me to get to meet, because I hadn't met Dave, I don't think. And I hadn't met, I'm getting Dave. Dave's in Nashville?
Yeah.
Okay. And then in LA, you have
Kelly.
Sorry. Okay.
Yep.
It just left me. And Kelly was in Nashville for a while, wasn't he?
No.
I thought he was. Okay, maybe that was Dave.
Kelly was in Dallas for a while, and then he moved to LA, and then
Dallas. That was it. And I hadn't met Mike either. I hadn't previously.
Right. Like I said, it was a group of people. I wasn't jesting at all when I said I've spoken to each of you about each of you. I don't know if I've ever had all of you in a room kind of together.
I think I've probably been in group text messages with each of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so there's been a little bit of connection, but no face and personality and name to put that to. But
that was like a dream for me in a virtual kind of way. But yeah.
And it was an opportunity to give of ourselves, give of our time, and celebrate someone who has given so much of themselves and their time to the rest of us, and given us great stories to tell.
Man, a lot of that.
I need to go back and listen to it. Some of the
stories. Oh no!
Like, wait a minute, are you serious?
Yeah, I can tell you 2 of those stories were completely fabricated.
The Gentlementor.